Is this Champions League the final nail in the coffin for Mikel Arteta as Arsenal manager? A couple different scenarios could play out here, right? They beat PSV and they lose to Real Madrid in the next round. He's fine. Nobody's expecting Arsenal to beat Real Madrid. Like, the fans will still be upset, but they will be calling for his head. If he beats PSV and Arsenal loses to Atleti in the next round, I'm not sure they'll be like Arteta out, but he's going to take a hit there, mainly because of the perception of the strength of Atletico Madrid. Like, the English media doesn't respect Atleti at all. They think that we suck. So losing to Atletico,
dinosaur football.
Dinosaur football. Chelsea beat us recently in the knockouts. Manchester City beat us. I think our last knockout win was Manchester United. We beat them 2-1 on AG maybe 3 years ago, something like that. So that would be a bad loss. If Arsenal lose to PSV, a team that is led by 36-year-old Ivan Perisic, I think he's done. I'm going to say it. I know I'm putting my neck out there. I think he's done. I don't think he survives.
Really?
I think
okay,
he's
so what about the excuses of the injuries? What about that then?
I think it only gets you so far. I think the injury excuse might help him more in the Prem, but you can't lose to PSV in the Cup, dude. Here, you touched on some teams already. Here are the teams that have eliminated Mikel Arteta and Arsenal in Europe since he arrived. 2019, Olympiacos in the Europa League round of 32. 2020 season, Villarreal in the Europa League semifinal. Unai Emery. 2021 season, they didn't even qualify for Europe. 2022, Sporting in the Europa League round of 16. 2023, Bayern Munich in the Champions League quarterfinal. If you add PSV Champions League round of 16 to that list, I think it's inexcusable. I don't think many other managers, maybe Klopp, maybe because he was so beloved, but if Klopp had that exit resume, dude, I mean, how would you view Klopp if those were the teams that eliminated Liverpool over the last 6 years? You'd be pissed, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah, I would be pissed. And you would be pissed too if that was Simeone with Atleti. I think so that's the thing.
You better have 2 La Liga titles in there.
Oh, yeah, you have to. And what does Arteta have?
FA Cup, Community Shields.
Wow, impressive. This is Arsenal. No disrespect to Tottenham. This is not Tottenham. This is Arsenal Football Club, who have a grand history of titles and trophies. And you've been there now 6 years? 6 years. You haven't made it to the semifinals of one European competition. You've only got one FA Cup. You got to get past PSV. I think it's acceptable to lose to this Atleti and to lose to this Real Madrid. He's safe. I cannot imagine the meltdown if Arsenal lose to PSV. The media, look, I think he's gotten some, because Arsenal were in such a bad place when he took over. They were just such a mess. The squad was a mess. Everything was just a mess. That's why they have had to spend so much money to rectify them and bring them back to a solid team. He's got to get past the PSV. I don't care if no Saka, no Havertz, no Jesus, no Martinelli. You have something still to get past PSV. And that's no disrespect to PSV. I think they're a good team. But if you've actually been looking at PSV's recent fixtures, they're bottling the Eredivisie. They're bottling it. So, it could be interesting, though.
Yeah, it's not disrespect to PSV and like they're not a good club. It's just the reality of when you're supposed to be a Premier League club pushing for titles with the financial investment that Arteta has received. It's just factual that Arsenal are the favorites to win this title. We both think PSV are a good team, but you can't be, even hipsters such as us, we can't be like, actually, PSV, I think they got the edge here. I mean, we can predict them to win, but nobody's saying they're the favorites. You know what I'm saying? PSV's manager is not going to take the same hit as Mikel Arteta. Like, you signed up for this, bro. You're managing a Premier League team. Welcome. This is what it looks like. And I think Arteta's reputation will suddenly be put side by side with 3 other individuals. Number 1, Arsene Wenger. Because one of the things about Arsene Wenger is he didn't get massive summer spending sprees like this. The Arsenal board said, hey, bro, we got $5 for you. So get out there, get us into the Champions League and lose to Bayern Munich. And he did that time and time again for decades. Another manager is going to be compared to Unai Emery. Because of what Unai Emery, that's the last European final Arsenal have gotten to. Yes, they lost to Chelsea, but he still got them there. If he takes Aston Villa to the semifinal or the final, that looks bad on Mikel Arteta, but it mainly looks bad on the Arsenal ownership, I would say, in that scenario. And the third person, Arne Slot. If he wins the league in his first season and makes the final of the Champions League, I mean, God forbid he gets the double and wins the Champions League.
I might faint.
You will faint, and I think the Arsenal fan base will faint as well. Just you would be from euphoria, theirs would be from sheer rage. Because it would become, I think that would be a little unfair fair? Actually, hold on. Let me check myself. Would it be unfair to say that Arteta failed if Slot does the double? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it would be a fair criticism of like, dude, what the hell have you been doing? This guy just got here.
Yeah, and then you kind of look back at the summer signings that they made. They didn't bolster them in the right positions. You didn't need another defender. Did you really need Mika Marino? Me and you watch Real Sociedad. You should take Zubamendi all day, every day. Now they want Zubamendi, of course, but it's just going to all come back to the transfer window and everything. And there's just going to be so many question marks about Arsenal. So many, and especially for Mikel Arteta. Then he's on thin ice, I think. If they lose to PSV next season, if they go through a little bit of a slump, like let's say 5 to 10 games where they don't win a game, he might be sacked. Because I think then Arsenal fans will be so irate online. And the owners are not stupid. The owners are smart people. They're business people. That will hurt their products. So fascinating. Because if can you imagine that meltdown? It will be AFTV and chill all night if Arsenal lose to PSV.
Oh, 100%. It'll be really interesting to see what happens to his future. I mean, I've been surprised by managerial sackings in the past, but he's been there for so long now. Would you say it's harsh if he gets sacked if PSV knocked them out? I mean, it's not the friendliest sacking of all time, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you were given years that other managers didn't.
Yes.
And you couldn't get the job done. So fascinating to see. Now, whether you rate Arteta as a manager or not, that's personal opinion. But you could not call his Arsenal tenure success. An FA Cup and 2 Community Shields. I think it's 2. You can't call that a success. Absolutely not.